They only respect you when you detach completely, Stoicism explained. Picture this. You're constantly available, always saying yes, bending over backwards for everyone. And somehow, you're the one getting disrespected, overlooked, and taken for granted. What if I told you that 2,000 years ago, ancient philosophers discovered a counterintuitive truth that could completely transform how people treat you? A truth so powerful that when you apply it, people suddenly start valuing your time, respecting your boundaries, and treating you like the prize you actually are. I'm talking about the Stoic principle of detachment. And today, we're diving deep into why they only respect you when you detach completely. But before we unlock this ancient wisdom, if you're ready to transform how the world sees and treats you, hit that like button right now. And if you want more life-changing philosophy delivered straight to your feed, subscribe and ring that notification bell. Because we're about to embark on a journey that could change everything. We're going to explore one of the most powerful psychological principles ever discovered. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Paradox of Attachment. Let me start with a story that might sound familiar. Sarah worked at a marketing firm. She was the person everyone came to, staying late to help with projects, covering for absent colleagues, always available via text. She thought this would make her indispensable, respected, maybe even lead to that promotion she'd been eyeing. Instead, Sarah found herself constantly overwhelmed, underappreciated, and somehow always the last to know about important decisions. Her boss would interrupt her vacation with urgent requests. Her colleagues assumed she'd handle their workload without being asked. And when promotion time came, it went to someone who set clear boundaries and wasn't always available. Sarah had fallen into what I call the attachment trap. The mistaken belief that the more we need others, the more they'll value us. The more available we are, the more respect we'll earn. If this sounds like your story, drop a yes in the comments right now. You're not alone in this. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern psychology is just beginning to catch up with. Human beings are wired to value what's scarce and dismiss what's abundant. Think about it. We don't marvel at the air we breathe, but we'll pay thousands for a rare diamond. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." But there's a deeper layer here. When you realize you don't need external validation, external approval, or external circumstances to be complete, something magical happens. People start needing you. Epictetus, who went from slave to one of the most respected philosophers in history, taught that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about events. And our attachment, our desperate need for things to go our way, is the root of that suffering. But here's what most people miss. When you detach from outcomes, from people's opinions, from the need to be needed, you don't become cold or uncaring. You become powerful. You become magnetic. You become someone others naturally gravitate toward and respect. In the next chapter, we're going to explore exactly what detachment means in practical terms, because this isn't about becoming a hermit or stopping to care about anything. It's about strategic, intelligent detachment that makes you irresistible. Chapter 2, The Stoic Art of Detachment. So what exactly is Stoic detachment? Let me clear up the biggest misconception right away. Detachment is not being cold or emotionless, not caring about anything, becoming a hermit, suppressing your feelings. Real Stoic detachment is about emotional freedom. It's about caring deeply while holding outcomes lightly. Let me tell you about James, an entrepreneur I know. 2 years ago, James was that guy who would check his phone every 5 minutes, respond to emails instantly, and say yes to every networking event, coffee meeting, and quick favor request. He was attached to being seen as helpful, successful, and available. His business was struggling. His relationships were surface level. And despite being constantly busy, he felt invisible and unimportant. Then James discovered Stoicism. But instead of going to extremes, he learned the art of strategic detachment. He started with 3 simple principles. Principle 1. Detach from outcomes, not actions. James still worked hard on his business, but he stopped checking his sales dashboard every hour. He'd launch a product, do everything in his power to make it succeed, then mentally let go of the result. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." When you're attached to specific outcomes, you miss opportunities for different, often better outcomes. Quick question for you. What outcome are you most attached to right now? Drop it in the comments. Sometimes just naming it reduces its power over you. Principle 2. Detach from others' opinions, not your values. James stopped trying to be everything to everyone. He defined his core values and operated from those, regardless of whether others approved. He started saying no to projects that didn't align with his vision. Paradoxically, as he became less available and more selective, people started valuing his time more. Clients began offering higher rates. Colleagues started treating him as an equal rather than a resource to be used. Principle 3. Detach from the need to control, not the will to influence. This is crucial. James couldn't control whether people bought his products, but he could influence their decision by creating excellent value. He couldn't control market conditions, but he could control his response to them. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly. Confine yourself to the present. When you're attached to controlling the future or dwelling on the past, you lose power in the only moment where you actually have any. Right now. 6 months after applying these principles, James's business doubled. But more importantly, his relationships deepened. People started coming to him for advice. He became someone others looked up to and respected. What changed? James stopped chasing respect and started commanding it through detachment. But here's where most people get stuck. They understand the theory but don't know how to practically apply it. In our next chapter, we're going to break down the exact psychology behind why detachment creates respect. And I'm going to give you a framework you can start using today. Chapter 3, The Psychology of Respect. Why does detachment create respect? The answer lies in fundamental human psychology that hasn't changed since our ancestors lived in caves. Humans are hardwired to value scarcity. We want what we can't have, and we dismiss what's always available. This isn't shallow. It's survival programming. Think about the most respected people in your life. I guarantee they share one quality. They're not desperate for your approval. They're not constantly available. They have boundaries, standards, and they're comfortable walking away. Steve Jobs was famous for this. He didn't chase customers. He created products so compelling that customers chased him. He wasn't trying to please everyone. He had a clear vision and was willing to say no to 99% of opportunities to focus on the 1% that mattered. That's Stoic detachment in action. Dr. Robert Cialdini identified this as the principle of scarcity in his book, Influence. When something becomes less available, we want it more. When someone becomes less available, we value them more. But there's a deeper layer. When you're attached, when you need something from someone, you unconsciously communicate lower status. You're the one seeking approval, validation, or help. You're in the position of need. When you're detached, when you're complete within yourself, you communicate higher status. You're not seeking anything. You're offering value from a place of abundance, not need. Epictetus taught his students, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. When you truly embody detachment, you don't need to tell people you don't need them. Your energy, your behavior, your very presence communicates it. Let me share the 3 levels of respect that detachment creates. Level 1, surface respect. This is what most people experience. Others are polite to you, but they don't really value your time or opinions. You're nice to have around, but not essential. Level 2, professional respect. People recognize your competence and treat you as an equal. They listen to your ideas and include you in important decisions. This is where most successful people plateau. Level 3, deep respect. This is rare. People not only value your opinions, they seek them out. They want to be associated with you. Your presence elevates a room. Your absence is noticed. Level 3, respect only comes from complete detachment from needing it. Pause this video for a moment and honestly assess what level of respect do you currently experience in your career, your relationships, your social circle? Don't judge yourself, just notice. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Here's what's fascinating. You can move from level 1 to level 3 using specific, practical strategies that the Stoics developed, and that's exactly what we're covering next. The actual techniques that will transform how people see and treat you. Chapter 4. The Detachment Framework. All right, it's time to get practical. I'm going to give you the exact framework I use and teach to transform how people respect and value you. I call it the DETACH framework. D. Define your standards. E. Eliminate availability. T. Trust the process. A. Accept what you cannot control. C. Cultivate inner abundance. H. Honor your boundaries. Let's break each one down with real, actionable strategies. Most people have no standards. They'll accept any treatment, any offer, any opportunity just to be included. The Stoics taught that a person without standards is like a ship without an anchor. They drift wherever the current takes them. Practical exercise. Right now, grab a piece of paper and write down. What behavior will you no longer tolerate from others? What opportunities are below your standards? What type of person do you refuse to become? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does." Define your standards based on your values, not others' expectations. This doesn't mean becoming unreachable. It means becoming selective. Your time, attention, and energy are your most valuable resources. Treat them accordingly. 3-tier availability system. Tier 1, immediate access. Reserved for true emergencies and highest priorities. Tier 2, scheduled access, most professional and personal interactions. Tier 3, delayed access, low priority requests and energy drains. When someone can't reach you instantly, they start valuing the time when they can. This is where most people fail. They start implementing detachment, don't see immediate results, and give up. Seneca taught, every journey begins with a single step. But the step itself is not the journey. Building respect through detachment is like building muscle. You don't see results after one workout, but consistency over time creates dramatic transformation. Trust markers. People test your boundaries more at first. This is normal. Some relationships may become uncomfortable. This filters out users. Opportunities may initially seem to decrease. Better ones are coming. The fundamental Stoic teaching. Focus only on what's within your control. You cannot control others' reactions, decisions, or opinions. You can only control your actions, responses, and choices. If you're still with me, drop a in the comments. We're about to cover the 2 most powerful parts of this framework. This is the secret sauce. Most people operate from scarcity. They're afraid of losing opportunities, relationships, or status. When you cultivate inner abundance, you operate from a place of enough. Daily practices. Gratitude for what you already have. Celebrating your past wins and growth. Investing in your skills and knowledge. Building multiple sources of value. Not just one job, one relationship, one identity. When you feel abundant internally, you naturally detach from desperately seeking external validation. Boundaries without enforcement are just suggestions. The Stoics understood that respect is earned through consistent action. Not just words. Boundary enforcement strategy? State the boundary clearly once. Follow through immediately when it's crossed. Don't explain or justify repeatedly. Be prepared to walk away if necessary. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. This framework isn't theory. It's a practical system that works. But like any system, it requires implementation. In our next chapter, I'm going to show you exactly how to implement this in your daily life, starting tomorrow. Chapter 5, Real-World Application. Theory without application is just entertainment. Let's make this real with specific scenarios you face every day. The situation. Your boss constantly gives you last-minute urgent tasks, often interrupting your planned work or personal time. Bold response. Drop everything, work late. Apologize for any delays on other projects. Stoic detachment response. I can absolutely help with this. Looking at my current priorities, list them. I can either handle this urgent task and push back specific project by specific time frame, or I can tackle this first thing tomorrow morning. What works better for the overall team goals? You're not saying no. You're detaching from the need to be instantly available and instead offering professional options. Result? Your boss starts planning better because they know you'll make them face the real priorities and trade-offs. The situation. A friend consistently cancels plans. Last minute, but expects you to always be available when they need something. Old response. Accept the cancellation. Make yourself available whenever they call. Maybe express frustration, but continue the pattern. Stoic detachment response. Stop making plans with this person a priority. When they want to get together, you might be available, you might not. When they need something, respond on your timeline, not theirs. You don't need to have a dramatic conversation or cut them off. Just naturally detach from investing more energy than they do. Result, either they start valuing your time more, or they naturally fade from your life. Both outcomes improve your life. This is huge in our digital age. Most people are addicted to likes, comments, and shares. They post and immediately check for validation. Stoic approach. Post valuable content because you believe in it, not for engagement. Check social media on your schedule, not constantly. Don't argue or defend yourself against random internet critics. Unfollow accounts that make you feel worse about yourself. When you detach from needing social media validation, your content actually becomes more engaging because it's authentic rather than needy. The situation. You're interested in someone who gives mixed signals, sometimes very attentive, sometimes distant. Old response. Analyze every text. Adjust your behavior based on their mood. Always be available when they reach out. Stoic detachment response. Continue living your full life. When they reach out and you're free and interested, engage. When you're busy or they're being inconsistent, don't be available. Don't play games. But don't put your life on hold for someone who isn't fully invested. Result. Either they step up their consistency and investment, or they reveal they're not serious. Either way, you win. The situation. Family members who guilt-trip you, demand constant availability, or disrespect your boundaries. This is often the hardest area to apply detachment because of emotional history and social expectations. Stoic approach. Love them, but don't enable dysfunction. You can care about someone while refusing to participate in patterns that drain you. Set clear boundaries about what you will and won't discuss, when you're available, and what behavior you'll accept. Enforce these boundaries consistently, even if it creates temporary discomfort. Start with one area of your life where you need more respect. Pick the scenario that resonated most with you. For the next week, identify where you're being too available or accommodating. Choose one boundary to implement. Prepare your response in advance. Follow through consistently. Notice how people's behavior toward you starts shifting. Remember, you're not trying to punish anyone or be difficult. You're simply valuing yourself appropriately and teaching others to do the same. Chapter 6. Advanced Detachment and Common Mistakes. As we wrap up this deep dive, let's cover the advanced level of detachment and the biggest mistakes people make when they start implementing these principles. The highest level of Stoic practice is what I call loving detachment. This is where you care deeply about people and outcomes, while simultaneously being completely okay if things don't go your way. Think of a master chef who puts everything into creating a perfect dish, then gracefully accepts if one customer doesn't enjoy it. The chef cares about quality, but isn't destroyed by one person's different taste. This is the energy that creates the deepest respect. People sense that you care about them and the situation, but you're not needy or desperate about it. Mistake 1. Confusing detachment with indifference. Some people swing too far and become cold or uncaring. Real detachment is warm but not clingy, caring but not controlling. Mistake 2. Using detachment as a manipulation tactic. If you're being detached to make someone chase you or prove something, you're still attached to the outcome. True detachment means you're genuinely okay either way. Mistake 3. Expecting immediate results. Respect is built over time through consistent behavior. Don't abandon the principles if you don't see changes in the first week. Mistake 4. Applying it inconsistently. You can't be detached on Tuesday and desperately available on Wednesday. Consistency is what builds trust and respect. Here's how you know you've mastered Stoic detachment. When someone tries to manipulate you with guilt, anger, or emotional pressure, you feel genuinely compassionate toward them rather than triggered or defensive. You understand they're operating from pain or fear, and while you don't enable their behavior, you don't take it personally either. I want to leave you with a challenge that will transform your life if you accept it. For the next 30 days, practice detachment in one area where you've been too attached. Maybe it's checking your phone constantly, needing approval from a specific person, trying to control a particular outcome, being available to everyone all the time. Choose one area, apply the Detach framework consistently, and watch how the world starts treating you differently. If this video has opened your eyes to the power of Stoic detachment, here's what I need you to do right now. Hit that like button if you found value in these 40 minutes. Subscribe and ring the notification bell, because we dive deep into life-changing philosophy every week. Drop a comment with the one area where you're going to practice detachment starting today. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, they only respect you when you detach completely. But detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring from a place of strength rather than need. The ancient Stoics discovered these truths 2,000 years ago, but they're more relevant today than ever. In a world of constant connection and availability, the person who masters detachment becomes magnetic. You have everything you need within you right now. You don't need anyone's permission, approval, or validation to start commanding the respect you deserve. Thank you for spending these 40 minutes with me on this journey into Stoic wisdom. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore how to build unshakable confidence that no one can take away from you. Until then, practice detachment, honor your worth, and watch how the world responds. This is, and remember, your philosophy is your life.